talked about this, companies have to give up power because you can't control the social media, you can't control the employees, which if you're a manager, you've known that for a long time, but still, not necessarily true just with millennials, but still, how do you give up the power in a way that, still allows you to maintain maybe some semblance of control, but
you can't control anything.
There's no way to control. See, the issue is how their thinking has evolved, right? So I give you an example. As a nonprofit, you want to say a nonprofit that deals with hunger, you want to eradicate hunger. You've built structures, right, to allow you to disseminate money to different areas where you feel like hunger is a bigger problem than other places, right? So you want to be able to get people to give money that care about hunger, care about a cause like hunger, which is a very broad topic, and be able to disseminate that money through your organization so it gets to the people who need it at the times when they need it. Now, a millennial will come in and say, yeah, I care about hunger, but I care about feeding this one particular group of kids that go to this elementary school in Southeast, right? And they'll say, I go out there every month and I, take out of my own pocket stuff to do, food to these kids, and I know a lot of these kids. I know, Jimmy, and I know Thomas, and I know, and they have this connection, right? And they care about hunger, but it's a very micro-focused care, right? And they want to know, as an organization, what are you doing to help me help these kids, right? Can I go out here and, go to my network and give them to give me money? Can you help me do that so I can go back down into Southeast next week with 3 times the amount of food that I had last week, right? And they want to sort of democratize it in that way. So, they understand and they respect the fact that us as nonprofits have the information on where hunger is a bigger problem than in other places, and they respect that, and they definitely want to help elevate that information. But at the end of the day, they want to be able to take these issues that they care about on the micro level and make changes in the best way that they possibly can. So that's how you kind of have to give up control. You have to sort of take this structure that you've built where, you take the money in this hand, and you take it behind the door, and you figure out, where it needs to go and how it needs to be disseminated. And you kind of have to bring them into that room so they can tell you where these issues, where they care about. So.
Yeah, so that moving of dollars is part of the power you're talking about having to give up. I think the challenge there, and I completely agree with everything you just said, Mark. I definitely see it in my own work that the same group that is not just checking off the box of giving at the office, but they are the first ones to reach in their pockets and open their wallets and take out whatever's in there. They want to do it in the moment when their heartstrings are pulled, and I think the answer really is to tap into what they already care about. It's very difficult with all the competing messages out there and all the competing very worthy causes to get people to care about something specific. But if you can meet them where they already are, that's something you can really foster and grow. And then I think the big challenge becomes, though, how, like, if I'm looking at our population of 35,000 people in the US firm, I can't be all things to all people. And so I think another part of this dialogue is taking a hard look. I think companies need to take a hard look, and many are doing this already, but as we move from more classic philanthropy, right, to a strategic corporate responsibility strategy where we're really looking at shared value, it's taking a hard look at how those dollars have gone out in the past and saying, what are we accomplishing with this peanut butter effect of giving to 5,000 charities every year? While we can't be all things to all people, and we do have some programs, our foundation's Dollars for Doers program, a paid time off program where everyone gets 10 hours a year to volunteer where they want to volunteer. We have some programs that are very much about letting people give how, where, and when they want to give. But when we look at the firm's overall giving, we're saying we need to think about who we are as an organization, what we have to contribute. The skills and knowledge of our people around financial literacy is something that where you're never going to get everyone. Certainly, I think the 80-20 rule can apply, that most PwCers are going to give that the nod and say, we know that this is an important issue to society, and we know that we have the skills and knowledge to make a difference here. And if not, sign me up. At least I'm so glad the firm is doing this. Even if I don't sign up, I'm glad I'm proud to work at a place that does this. So I think it is partially about taking that hard look at
Yeah,
where your dollars are going.
That's interesting. I think, tapping into that sense of pride, even if it's not a forced contribution, that's an expectation of being a worker, is a good approach for employers, so that it's more of a choice. But companies also have started to be more open and transparent and promotional about their philanthropy and the involvement of workers in that philanthropy too, which can help. So
Yes.
the workplace then, kind of to answer my question, is a millennial comes in, and the challenge of the company is to help that worker see the company as a new social group, basically, in a way that they can help recruit and get money for the causes, and money and help to the causes that they care about. And then somehow you have to create an agreement between the workers and the company about what those causes are, that set of causes might be that.
I think that's the tricky part, creating that agreement. And it's almost impossible because you don't have any control. And people come in with their own ideas, their own causes. Every single one of them has a side gig these days. I mean, we have to acknowledge that. They're all working on something else at the same time. Nobody just identifies with the place where they work these days. That's over. The lifer culture, I think, both from an economic standpoint, because that's the way companies operate these days, and from the sort of cultural, social side of things has changed. So I think the idea of making it interesting and empowering and giving them the opportunity, knowing you're not going to get 100%, is, I